Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In previous sections of this paper, we have seen how Islamic economics emerged as a revolutionary alternative to capitalism. Later, the second generation of Islamic economists abandoned the revolutionary ideals and decided to create Islamic economics as a compromise, as a mixture of Islam and capitalism. In this portion of the lecture, we will explain the revolutionary teachings of Islam and how they are starkly in conflict with the teachings of capitalism. This says that Islam came as a stranger and will become a stranger. And so it is true that the revolutionary teachings of Islam have been forgotten even by the Muslims today. So let us remember the historical precedent, how Islamic teachings came to ignorant and backwards Bedouin in the desert, and how they created a civilization which dazzled the world, and how it transformed backwards people into leaders of the world. So the burning question for us today is, do the teachings of Islam have the same power today as they did 14 centuries ago? In fact, there are a large number of revolutionary teachings, but I'm going to compress them into 4 central points. One of them is that this life is not about material progress, not about getting more GDP per capita. It's about human development, how we can learn to be human beings. The second teaching is that power and wealth are given to us as a test and a trial, so that we should use them to help the oppressed and the needy, not to oppress and not to flaunt our wealth in front of the needy. The third teaching is that this world is not a jungle of competition. We should cooperate with each other. Ta'awanu alal birri wa taqwa. And also that the body of the ummah is like one body. So we have social responsibility. We should feel the pain of others, not pursue pleasure on our own as individuals. So the first teaching is that life is about human development, not the race for riches. The Quran teaches us that man has the potential to rise above the highest of the creation, and he also has the potential to be the worst of the creation. So how can we rise from the bottom to the top? The lowest stage of spiritual development is called nafs-e ammara, and this is almost identical to the homo economicus of economic theory. You maximize pleasure, you don't care for others, you don't worry about the akhirah or justice or anything. The only thing you care about is your own nafs. So what is the cure for this, and how can we make progress? Well, Allah Ta'ala gives us the antidote, that in order to break the love in our heart of things of this material, you give away the things that you love the most for the sake of Allah. And this will cure the heart of the disease. So the journey from nafs-e lawwama to nafs-e mutmainna requires many kinds of spiritual struggles, but 2 of the key components is feeling gratitude to Allah for the gifts that He has given us, feeling contentment for what we have, and also surrender to the will of Allah, acceptance of whatever we have been given. The second central teaching is that if we have power and wealth, this should not make us proud and this should not make us flaunt. These are given to us as a test to see if we will use this to help the poor and the oppressed. Our soul has been made as a battleground for good and evil. Allah Ta'ala, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. We have shown him the 2 highways. And فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ سَبِيلًا. So whoever wants to find the way to his Lord. So greed, the basic principle of economic theory, is nafs-e ammara, and generosity, the basic principle of Islamic economics, is nafs-e mutmainna. And our goal is to struggle against the nafs in order to make spiritual progress. The third key teaching in which Islamic economics is opposed to conventional or capitalist economics is that we are based on cooperation, not competition. So Allah Ta'ala teaches us to cooperate in the right and good. Interestingly, economics was based on early theories of evolution, which said that evolution occurred by competition and survival of the fittest. But now, most recent theories of evolution say that no, evolution occurs by cooperation, where people cooperate to achieve survival and better results. Imagine what a huge change it would make if we were to accept and adopt and act upon the hadith that all of the creation is like the family of God, and Allah Ta'ala loves those who are the kindest to His family. So, no nations, no wars, all of the animals, the birds, even the earths and the trees and the rocks, these are all our home and part of our planet, and we provide love and respect and kindness to them. There is a very important understanding in the West that previously they had the metaphor, organic metaphor of Mother Earth and community as one body, but they changed this and they moved to the Newtonian metaphor of the earth as a dead machine and everyone as individual for himself. And this is the source of our problems today, that the idea of community and family and love has been lost. And this is what the revolutionary teaching of Islam can give us today. So the fourth concept is social responsibility. We have to take care of each other. All of the children, all of the basic needs of all humanity is our farz kifaya. The goal of a society is to ensure that all human beings who are born with infinite potential are enabled to realize this potential. And this is very different from the goal of pursuing wealth for everyone in a competition and in survival of the fittest. So the point of this section was to explain how the teachings of Islam are just as revolutionary today as they were 14 centuries ago. Today, the dominant religion on the planet is economic theory, which teaches us to be selfish and greedy and says that cutthroat competition among the firms leads to efficiency, and that society is based on greed and competition and hedonism and individualism, and that there are no ethics, that everything is permissible in the pursuit of pleasure, power, and profits. And this is so radically different. How can we fit Islamic teachings into this framework? In fact, we have to reject these teachings and rebuild on new foundations. That is according to the vision of the first generation of Islamic economists, a society based on generosity, cooperation, social responsibility, and spirituality.